I don't want to waste your time, so there'll be no intro. So, the UK, this is the country that started the entire Industrial Revolution. They built a massive global network, the Commonwealth. They had the opportunity to be the world's greatest industrial partner forever. But from my perspective, it's clear they missed the boat. Think about that moment when the empire transitioned into the Commonwealth. The UK had this huge family of countries. They shared legal systems, they spoke English, and they had easy connections. It was the perfect setup for a permanent industrial team. But the harsh reality in the UK was that it became too expensive to make things there. UK wages are high. If a company wants to produce millions of basic clothes or simple components cheaply, they just can't do it competitively in Britain. So what filled out the massive economic gap? Of course it's China. They completely took over. China's factories now account for a massive 37% of their entire economy. The UK is barely 9%. This huge economic shift happened because the UK didn't have a long-term plan for how to use its Commonwealth connections. The loss is clearest in key sectors. Shipbuilding. A massive industry for the UK, essentially just disappeared. The textile industry, a huge employer, just fell apart because it couldn't compete with the lower prices coming from Asia. Instead of building a smart strategy, using the Commonwealth networks to handle the cheaper, high-volume production, the UK let its factory system simply die. They chose to focus on the quick money from banking and finance, and they forgot the value of actually making physical products. The smart move was never for the UK to try and beat China's low cost at home. The move was to outsource the high-volume work to their Commonwealth partners, but keep the high-value design, engineering, and quality control in the UK. We know this model works. Look at their service industries. Big UK companies moved call centers and IT jobs to places like India. Why, you may ask? Of course, it's the lower cost, plus the large English-speaking talent pool. The UK should have done the exact same thing with physical goods. The UK should have actively partnered with nations like Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Ghana to make the components and simple goods. The UK stays the brains of the operation, high-tech designers and engineers, and its global partners get the crucial factory investments and jobs. Let's look at two huge global factors the UK has failed to capitalize on. Firstly, the Trump tariffs. When the US started putting huge taxes on Chinese goods, companies around the world began desperately looking for non-China suppliers. The UK had a distinctive advantage right there. If the government had acted quickly, it could have used its Commonwealth network to offer the US and other Western companies a secure, tariff-free, alternative route. They could have quickly grabbed a huge slice of the global manufacturing, but that window was missed. Secondly, the power of the immigrant population. The UK has millions of people with direct families and business ties across the Commonwealth. From India to Kenya, from Nigeria to Jamaica. These people are the ultimate business bridge. They know the language, the culture, the legal systems, and the trust levels. This is a priceless network that no other Western country has access to, yet the UK government has barely factored this into its industrial strategy. By not taking advantage of these chances, the UK misses out on four massive long-term advantages. First, helping allies grow. Their trade policies could have driven growth and stability in allied countries. This is how you build soft power, through mutual prosperity. Second, they missed keeping global power by being the central hub for a massive manufacturing network that covered every continent. Thirdly, this collaboration would have driven better skills in Britain because they would have been forced to focus on the absolute highest tech part of the process. Fourthly, and this is the most important lesson today, they would have had safer supply chains, reliable partners they trust, instead of being so dependent on a single political uncertain country for everything. It is not too late. The blueprint for a UK manufacturing revival isn't about rebuilding every old factory, it's about making the Commonwealth an economic powerhouse. They need to formally recognize and use those existing community networks to quickly set up new trade channels and investments. The government has made small efforts to lower taxes on some imports, but it needs to be much more aggressive. It needs a complete change in how it views these partners. The biggest steps is this. They must get rid of or hugely cut the import taxes on goods that are made specifically in these partner nations. This is the game changer that gives businesses the incentives to move their factory contracts from China to a reliable Commonwealth partner. By creating strong free trade deals within the Commonwealth, the UK can set up a supply chain with almost no trade barriers. That means British businesses get a secure, low-cost supply chain that beats the competition and is built on a foundation of long-term friendship. The whole world is watching the UK's next move. The question isn't whether they can make things again. The question is, will they finally learn to trade smarter? Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you like this video, like it. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you next time in the Black Man's Verdict.